Hello, everybody. Welcome to Simon Scott Assembly Hall. Indiana gets another victory, non-conference, over Winthrop this afternoon. For Peegs.com, he's Trevor Andershock. I'm Jeff Rabjohns. Tough game for the Hoosiers. They shoot 1 for 20 from 3. They led by 1 point with 3:16 to play. Then Winthrop did not score the final 3:16. Indiana was able to pull out the victory. Trevor, your thoughts, first of all. What were the things that stood out the most to you, good and bad, for IU from this game?
I'll start with a positive. Landon Hatton coming off the bench. Umar Ballo did not play today. He was in uniform. We did not get a reason why he did not play. But Landon Hatton, the senior center, came in, really made a difference on the glass. 11 rebounds, 7 points in, I think, 26 minutes. I thought that was a big positive. Obviously, Winthrop's not a very big team, but Hatton got in there, mixed it up, got in the crowd, pulled down some tough rebounds, a couple crucial ones late in the game to give IU that breathing room it needed to close out the game. But starting off on a positive, I thought Landon Hatton gave IU some great minutes today.
Yeah, and obviously that's really good for Landon Hatton. I mean, he even said post game when we talked to him, that, being from Indiana, it's a dream for him just to be on the team. He really appreciates any opportunity he gets to play. He gets to actually go out and play. So that's good for Hatton. It's good for his family. It's good for everybody who knows him. Good kid, good family. So obviously that's a good thing. And like you said, he was impactful. Some of those rebounds he got, if IU doesn't secure a couple of those defensive rebounds that Hatton got, it's a 1-2 possession game in those points. Things can get really, really dicey. They were a little dicey anyway, but without Hatton getting some of those rebounds, Indiana may be all of a sudden looking at a quad 4 loss instead of a quad 4 win. Outside of that, there were certainly some issues for Indiana. Lou Goody makes his first 3, then Indiana misses 19 in a row, which is just an insane number for a high major team. 3-point shooting continues to be an issue for IU. Percentage-wise and just a lot of different things. I thought they got good threes today, though. I mean, today was not one of those where you look at it and say they didn't take enough or they got bad ones. They got some good ones, just didn't make them. But for Indiana, how concerning is it that they still struggle just to generate points from the arc?
I think it's a big concern. Like you said, I think about 17 of them were really high-quality three-point attempts. One really late in the shot clock, one kind of forced late. But the rest of them were in rhythm, open shots. Goody had open shot after open shot. Trey Galloway and Miles Rice really did a good job of drawing and kicking to him, getting him good looks. But it is a concern, especially I think it was 3 games leading into it, IU shot about 24.5% from 3 coming into this one. And then this even takes it to a step below that. So I think it's still a matter of just good shots not going in. There's a lot of variance in 3-point shooting. A lot of them rattled in and out today. You knock down 4 or 5 of those and it doesn't look bad. And then if you're on the good side of things, you make 8 or 9. So
right.
I'm still leaning towards a bit unlucky. I don't know if you get that high quality shot against better opponents, but the shot quality has been fantastic here of late for IU from 3. I think you stick with that, keep firing up when you get open in rhythm shots, and I think they will go down at a higher rate in the future.
Yeah, and one of the issues that IU's had, earlier in Woodson's tenure was they took so few threes that, their points per possession, when just trying to rely on going inside all the time, was so low that at best they were going to be in a tight game. They really didn't give themselves a chance to beat some of the better teams that they played, which is why you see some of the, 10, 15, even 20-point losses that IU's had in recent years. So 3-point shooting, Indiana's going to have to figure something out, because some of the teams that they play, especially as they move into January, play some of the better teams in the Big Ten. If you're not generating some offense from the arc, it's going to get really tough to be one of the upper echelon teams in the Big Ten, which is what IU aspires to be. Miles Rice, I thought his driving was solid today. I thought he utilized the speed and quickness advantage, and I thought IU actually did a decent job at times creating some space for him. He turned the corner and there was space to operate. Your thoughts on Miles today and what IU needs to do to get him going moving forward?
Yeah, it was almost like Rice mimicked what Winthrop like to do. They're one of the fastest teams in the country. They like to push the tempo, want to get to the bucket. And Rice kind of did the same exact thing, gave Winthrop a little taste of their own medicine there. And I think that's how he needs to play in the future. I wrote about it a little bit on Peegs.com in the instant analysis. We're 13 games in, and most of the players on IU's roster really doesn't seem like they have a firm grasp of when and where their shots need to come from. I think Rice needs to get more downhill, easier looks going to the basket, but you need to space the floor in order to do that. And you need guys like Goody knocking down threes to give him more space. And today I thought you kind of saw what Miles Rice can do when he gets an opportunity to attack the basket, get some space, and get downhill. Now, the 12 points in the first half I thought were huge. IU didn't have much going on offensively, and he was kind of the only one who looked like he knew when and how he could get points, and he did that well. And he finished the game with 18 points to lead IU, and it has been a roller coaster, though, up and down for Rice. 22, 18, 4, 17, back and forth. I mean, they need more consistency, but I think it kind of comes back to the point of, does he know exactly when and where his shots need to come from?
Yeah, I think that's a really big thing for Indiana to figure out, just to get some consistent flow of who's supposed to do what and when and where. And they really need to get that stuff figured out here fairly quickly. Rutgers, Penn State on the road, USC, first 3 Big Ten games, not terribly tough, although Penn State in the Palestra is not going to be easy. I don't know if anything's going to be easy for IU right now, but a couple of teams that they play are teams that are struggling in the Big Ten. Then it starts to get really, really serious. Around January 11th, things are going to change for the Hoosiers. So they've got a little bit of time, but like you said, it's 13 games in. They really got to kind of get some things going, because they go into January with 0 quad 1 wins and enter today's game 67th in the net rankings. They are not even close to solid NCAA tournament footing right now. They've got to make up ground. What are the things that you see that Indiana really needs to do to start getting some quality wins to kind of get themselves on solid NCAA tournament footing?
Well, it's been a common theme all season long. No urgency on the defensive end and a lack of communication. We saw it again tonight. Winthrop got open threes. If they knock down a decent rate, this is definitely an upset in the making. They were unable to make open shots just like IU was, but it just brings up the fact that IU does not communicate, and they do not close out very well. They do not take away space in a hurry. It's almost like they're jogging instead of sprinting at most times. They're putting out a decent effort, but they're not anticipating. They're always kind of a step behind and trying to catch up. And against D1, high major opponents, you're not able to do that. So I think that needs to get changed in a hurry, or we're going to see a repeat of last year where you lose a bunch of games in a row, really go into a tailspin and try to figure out from there.
Yeah, I think that's where the Hoosiers find themselves as they wrap up the non-conference portion of the season. Rutgers kicks off Big Ten play in earnest here in January, and then a whole slew of Big Ten games January, February, and early March. For Trevor Andershock, I'm Jeff Rabjohns for Peegs.com.